am really excited to be able to introduce our guest, our speaker for this evening. We partner with Convoy of Hope in a lot of different ways, and so we have one of their fantastic representatives, and I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to let her share about what she's doing with Convoy, and really we have a chance just to hear a little bit of this story that we get to play a part of. So would you just, with me, welcome Kellen Msseemmaa.
Good evening, everyone. As you said, my name is Kellen Msseemmaa. I'm the director of Empowered Girls Program under Convoy of Hope. Convoy of Hope is a faith-based, non-profit organization with a driving passion to feed the world through children initiatives, community outreaches, and disaster responses. So we feed more than 160,000 children every school day in 11 countries. And last year, we provided seed capital to 2,788 women in our women empowerment programs. And in the quarter half of this year, we've responded to 14 disasters. And to sum up, I would like you to watch this video to tell you more about what we do.
Thanks to friends like you, 2017 has been a record-breaking year at Convoy of Hope. You have enabled us to serve millions of people around the world, and we are so grateful for your support. Together, we've provided
nutritious food, clean water, and more to children around the world, helping them focus in school and live up to their potential. We have also
equipped farmers with seeds and training to increase their yields to feed themselves and their communities. Additionally, this year we've
empowered women through training and small grants to start businesses, enabling them to provide for themselves and their families. With your help, we've
delivered help and hope to disaster survivors in many different countries during the most desperate time of need. And here at home,
we've provided haircuts, family portraits, career services, and more to tens of thousands of honored guests at our community events in major cities across the states. In rural America,
Convoy of Hope trained and resourced the local church to become best friends with their rural communities, bringing life back into our small towns.
And none of this would have been possible without our incredible partners and volunteers who donate their resources to make sure help gets to people who need it most.
We here at Convoy of Hope are so grateful for everything you made possible in 2017. And we're so excited to continue partnering with you to do even more in 2018. Thank you.
So that's to sum up what we do. And so today I'm going to talk about hope. And before I talk about hope, I'd like to tell you about myself. I was born and raised in Uganda, East Africa. I'm the firstborn of 6 children. My mother got pregnant while in high school. And because she could not afford to take care of me, she got married to a much older man and became his 4th wife. And because I was born out of wedlock, nobody really loved or cared about me. So I didn't really know what love was. While growing up, we never had enough food to eat. And sometimes we just ate 1 meal a day. And because I was the firstborn, I always ate last. If my younger siblings finished all the food, then sometimes I would sleep hungry. In Africa, girls are seen as a source of income, so my father wanted to marry me off at a very early age, but I refused. And because I refused, this meant him not giving him the support that I needed for my education. And at a very young age, it forced me to know Christ, because I saw him as the source of my strength, my hope, and my provision. And he never let me down. Through a series of miracles, I managed to finish university as a high school teacher. After I finished university, I moved to Tanzania to be with my husband, Msseemmaa, who also works for Convoy of Hope as Fields Director for Africa and Asia. In Tanzania, we live with our 2 biological children and 15 more teenagers in our humble home. These teenagers come from different families. Some, they wanted to marry them off at an early age. Others were raped. Others didn't have school fees. Some come from very difficult situations. We take them in and give them the skills they need to survive and give them hope so that they can see what Christ has for them and live the life that God has intended them to. So while working as a high school teacher, I realized that most students stopped coming to class because they were getting pregnant, and some didn't believe in themselves because of poor grades. They dropped out. And because of cultural tradition, which makes them believe that girls are born to be wives, housewives, have children, and that their offices are in the kitchen. So I started talking to girls after class, helping them boost their self-esteem, telling them that they're more than wives. They can be whom they want to be. They can even be presidents if they wanted to. Yeah. And magically, their grades started going up. So I realized that it's in their minds, that if we change their mindset and help them realize the potential that God has created them to be, they can grow up to be wonderful women who will be useful to their communities. Right. Convoy of Hope learned about what I was doing, and they got interested in my work. And Empowered Girls program was born and supported under Convoy of Hope. Now we work in more than 15 schools, reaching out to more than 2,500 girls every year. And the need is so big. Every school wants this program in their school. Every school wants the program, wants their girls to have this program. And I'm telling you, this program is working. Girls now have dreams. They dream of becoming lawyers, engineers, doctors, and pilots. They're dreaming of becoming women who are going to change their communities. Amen. So I'm the director of Empowered Girls Program under Convoy of Hope, and I make sure that the Empowered Girls Program gets the resources that it needs in Tanzania. And now it has expanded to other countries like Nicaragua, Ethiopia, Kenya, and it's still growing into other countries. I like telling my story because my story is the story of most girls that we work with. And my story, and my mother's story, is the story of so many women in our programs. So today I want to talk to you about hope. And how can we have hope when everything looks hopeless? And how can we bring hope to these communities where we work when there is no hope at all, when everything is hopeless? We work in Africa. Poverty, diseases, insecurity, above all, lack of food, which is the greatest problem. Most of us are parents here, or we have siblings. How would it feel if you woke up and you don't know what your child is going to eat? Yeah. And because of lack of food, it has forced women to be prostitutes, girls to drop out of school, to sell their bodies just for a plate of food, a plate of fries. It has forced parents to marry off their children at a very early age so that they can get dowry. It has forced women to do crazy things that you cannot think of just because of empty stomachs. It has forced many husbands to be very violent to their wives because it brings stress. Food, it's something very small but very important to our lives. Yeah. But when you don't have it, it makes you bitter at God, and ask yourself, where is this God? Why does my neighbor have the food she wants and I don't have it? Well, growing up, I always asked myself that question sometimes. And I remember one day on Christmas, imagine Christmas, which is a special day, especially in Africa when you get to eat meat and drink soda. But that day we never had food to eat. And I remember telling God that you are born today. The world is celebrating you. And my mother has nothing to feed us. But I remember my mom saying, in every situation, he remains God. This doesn't mean he has forgotten us. Yeah. He knows our names. And one day, we will have enough to eat and share with everyone. Amen. We all have stories in our lives, and I hope that your story helps another person. When God provided me with enough, I'm not saying I'm rich, but there's always food in my house. Yeah. And that always makes teenagers come from everywhere during lunchtime and dinner time just to come and say hello, because they know that there's going to be food in my house. And I've never lacked food because I give away a lot of food. So, as Christians, it's very easy to find hope in God's presence, to find hope in God's provision, and to find hope in God's power in times of adversity. But where do these people find hope? How do you tell someone that God loves you and he cares about you when he has nothing to eat? But we can do that through acts of kindness and acts of love, through reaching out to them, by praying for them, by sharing the little that we have. If we read in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 13, the Bible says, "And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." When we love, we share what we have. And you don't have to be rich to share what you have. You can share your time, you can share your prayer, you can share the little money you have to bring hope into someone's life. I remember in my life, when growing up, when I did not have enough in my life, it's those little acts of kindness that always made me realize that God has not forgotten me. It's those little acts of kindness that always lit the little hope that was remaining in me and made me realize that God knows my name. So those little acts of kindness, the sharing hand that you reach out to your neighbor, the words of kindness that you share with your neighbor or your parents or your siblings can bring hope into someone's life. Remember, John 3:16, for God so loved us that he gave us his only begotten Son. When you love, you give. We all tell our children that sharing is caring, right? Have you been told that? So when you share, it shows that you care. And God cannot come from heaven and give each one of us what we've asked for. He does that through each one of us. We are stewards of God's blessings. If I was to ask you this question, you as the keeper of God's blessings, he has entrusted you with so many things, so many talents, maybe even money. Have you been a good steward? Have you been God's hand that is reaching out to that needy person, your neighbor, or someone very far? Some of you can say, I'm so busy, I can't reach out to everyone. You can do it by supporting someone in the missions group. You can do it by supporting Convoy of Hope, or you can do it yourself.
That's right. Come on.
So I hope we become good stewards of the blessings that God has given us. I want to tell you a story about one of the women that we work with. Her name is Halima. Halima is a Muslim. When we started working with her, she lived in the poorest conditions that you can imagine. Her husband was very abusive. Her home was so horrible, very poor conditions. Sometimes she fed her children 1 meal a day, or sometimes she had nothing to feed them. So as a Muslim, when Convoy of Hope started working with her, at the end of every training, we would pray with them. After she started her business, it started flourishing. She said, I want that God that makes you reach out to someone like me who doesn't even know Christ. You would have bypassed me because I'm a Muslim, but you loved me just the way I am and you cared about me. Amen. So I would love that Christ that you have to also be my personal savior. And that act of kindness, through people like you who support Convoy of Hope, made Halima receive Christ. Another one is in Dotoyai, a Maasai woman who did not know Christ at all, a pagan. When Convoy of Hope enabled her, she's a young widow. She got married at the age of 14 and had 2 children. And after 4 years of marriage, her husband died because he was old, more than 60 years old. When she died, Ndotoyai went through a very difficult time. She had no food. She would sleep in someone's kitchen. When Convoy of Hope enabled her to start up her own business, she was so happy. I remember she came to town the very first time, and she told me, Kellen, I want you to take me and buy a mattress. She used to sleep on cow hides, cow skins. All her life, she bought her own mattress. I remember telling her, you cannot fit in the back of the car with a mattress. And your 2 children, she's like, no problem. It's okay if we suffocate. This is our mattress. She was so excited and so happy for buying her first mattress. She's like, I started the business. I saved up enough. I've saved up enough. I want to buy a mattress. I wish you saw her face. I wish you saw the joy in her face for buying that one mattress. I know you've slept on a mattress all your time, and this mattress means nothing to you. But Convoy of Hope helped to bring hope in her heart. And it helped her to see Christ. And now she sings in a choir, by the way. And she's very happy. And she loves this God that Convoy of Hope brought just because of the little thing that we do for the people. It brings hope and shows the Christ that we have in our lives. All this is easy if we are compassionate and kind. Just as Colossians 3 verses 12 says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. So if we clothe ourselves with compassion and a kind heart, it will be very easy for you to give. When you put yourself in the shoes of the people who are hurting, you will find yourself that you have so much to share. You have so much time to pray over these people. You have so much resources to share, to feed a child, and to help a mother going through a certain program. And Proverbs chapter 3, verses 3 says, do not let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Another version says, do not let kindness leave your heart. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your neighbor. We cannot say that we are going to start, I'm going to start by being kind to the people in Africa. It all starts with you. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your closest neighbor. And be kind to your community. And then it will be easy for you to reach out even to other people who are far away in other continents like Africa. I'm so proud to be part of Convoy of Hope, bringing women hope in Africa and all over the world. I'm so proud to be able to work with these women and these girls who do not know who they are, who from the time they are born, they know that they are at the bottom of the hierarchy. You have men, you have boys, you have cows, and then you have women at the bottom. Knowing that you have no value, you're nothing, and then coming to know that you are valuable, that God knows you. God does not discriminate women and men. We are all equal before his eyes. And getting to know that God has created you with a lot of potential and that you can be who God created you to be. And watching these women and girls walk with their shoulders squared, so happy, so joyful, restoring dignity in their homes. It's so amazing to watch these women go from grace to grace, from hopelessness to hope and dignity, from the streets as prostitutes into becoming women who know who they are and who Christ has called them to be, and to be able to live a life that Christ has created them to live. And let me finish by showing you one of the women, who is Matilda, who has gone from grace to grace, from hopelessness to hope.
I used to make Swahili donuts to sell. Putting Junior on my back while I worked was exhausting. The profits from selling donuts was very small, so sometimes we had to sleep hungry. When Junior saw me worrying, he would say, "Don't worry, Mama. We'll just drink tea and eat donuts tonight, and tomorrow you'll sell more, and then we can eat."
Mungu, kumbe unatujua.
I was so happy. I told God, you really know us, don't you? Even the other mothers in the community were saying, we are so happy when the kids come home from school, they've already eaten. The Women's Empowerment Program taught me how to run a business. I learned about savings, budgeting, and how to take care of my family. The program really blessed me, and it helped me get where I am now. When I opened my shop for the first time, I still wasn't totally confident in myself, but I kept doing business. I gained courage, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I thank God because now we can cook proper meals at home. After being empowered by Convoy of Hope, I had more available money, and now whatever Junior's needs are, I can take care of them. When I think about the hardships I've been through, I don't want to see anyone else cry about their life. So because the way Convoy empowered me, I was able to help another woman in need. If we keep doing that, I hope that we are able to reach a lot of women. Through Convoy of Hope, women can see themselves as capable of good work. Junior and I had given up hope, but Convoy restored it and showed me that I am capable.
So, thank you very much. That's all that we do, and that's my sermon for today. God bless you very much. And before I leave, maybe we can pray together. Father, I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak unto your children. Lord, I pray that even as I leave this pulpit, that you'll continue ministering unto them. I pray that you put kindness, compassion, and love in their lives. If those have been lacking, Father, I pray that you shall plant them tonight. I pray that, Father, you'll speak to each one of us according to your need and according to your will. May your grace and your favor and your word continue to be a light unto our feet. And may you draw us closer and closer to you, that we may know you and live in according to your will. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.